Oftentimes, when we have goals and ambitions, we like to set certain deadlines to achieve them by. And from one side, this is a good thing because it keeps us accountable. It keeps us driven towards fulfilling that task, that purpose, that endeavor by a certain deadline. Because if we just had the general goal of achieving something, but we didn't have that deadline, then it would just be more broad. So it keeps us driven, it keeps us working towards something. But from the other hand, if that timeline or that deadline is used as your only reference for measuring success, that can be very misleading. Hear me out. You could be doing every single thing in your power, everything in your control. You could be doing everything correctly, but you could still not see physical progress in your 3D reality. And so if you use timing as your reference to measuring that success, you might be under the false illusion that you're not doing something right. You might say, okay, well, clearly because it's not happening in my physical 3D reality, because I'm not seeing progress happening in my 3D, well, I should stop because I'm not doing something right. And that's where you could be mistaken, because we live in two different realms, right? We have our internal state, which is the divine realm, the higher dimensions, the 4D, the 5D, etc. And then we have our external reality, which is our 3D realm. This is what we could physically sense with our senses, right? What we could see, what we could smell, what we could hear. Everything that's around us, everything we could physically perceive is our 3D reality. And so a lot of the times when you are working towards a goal, when you are improving and developing yourself, you could be making so much progress in your internal state, in the higher dimensions, the 4D, the 5D, etc. But it could take time for your 3D to catch up to that. And so if you are only measuring your success by your 3D reality, that could be a false illusion. I'll give you guys a personal example to maybe help you guys understand, put it into perspective. When I started my personal development journey, the first 2-3 months, I didn't see much progress at all. Even though I was doing everything in my control, I was really giving it my all. I was seeking discomfort. I was in the right mindset. I was giving it my all. But I didn't see much progress. I saw very little progress. And so if I measured my success by that timeline, being like, okay, I want to see X amount of progress by 1 month, by 2 months. And if I didn't see that progress happening, then I would have been under the false illusion that I'm not making any progress at all. And then I would have stopped. First 2-3 months, you could be making very little progress, and the 4th, the 5th, the 6th month could skyrocket. Your success could skyrocket. But if you measure your success based on that timeline that you set for yourself for the first 2-3 months, you would have stopped before you realized your fullest potential. You would have stopped before you would have seen any progress, because you would have thought you were doing something wrong when in fact you were doing everything right. It just took time for your 3D to catch up to that. So the main message I'm trying to get across is that you could be doing everything correctly. You could be taking all the proper steps to achieving your goals while still not seeing any progress happen in your 3D. And so if you measure success based on timing, in the things that you could physically perceive by your senses, by your 3D reality, that could give you the false illusion that you're not doing something right, when in fact you could be doing every single thing correctly. Instead of investing your energy into planning out those tiny little details of when you will achieve a certain thing by, let go of timing. Let go of timing, trust divine timing, trust God, and trust that if you will take all the actionable steps that are in your control and you give it your all, everything will fall into place. Trust that and know that within your heart, and that's when you will learn to also love the journey, because when you're planning out all these details in regards to timing, you're so focused on the destination, you're so focused on achieving that result. When you learn to love the journey, the results will come much faster, number one, and also you'll have a lot more internal peace and clarity. Instead of investing your energy into planning out when will I achieve this by, redirect that, shift your focus into how can I improve, how can I learn, how can I grow, and how can I evolve. These are the areas that are in your control. So when you learn to redirect your energy from releasing timing, which is not in your control, to areas that are in your control, that's when you will learn to love the journey more. That's when you will learn to let go of the outcome and trust that if you keep showing up as the best version of yourself, if you keep following through with daily habits, consistent routines, taking the actionable steps, that is when you will be the most successful. That is when you will learn to love the journey the most instead of rushing to that destination, instead of rushing towards achieving something by a certain deadline. Trust that if you take the actionable steps, if you follow through with the actionable steps, if you give it your all, and if you love the journey, everything will fall into place according to its divine timing, which is perfect.